What's up, Speak For Yourself listeners? It's your boy Shay Sharp, co-host of FS1's Undisputed. I wanted to tell you about my new podcast, Club Shay Shay, where we always do something before two something. Each week, I sit down with a guest for a drink and conversation, and as host and proprietor of Club Shay Shay, I've welcomed in esteemed guests such as Snoop Dogg, Floyd Money Mayweather, LeVar Ball, Isaiah Thomas, just to mention a few. Whether I'm talking to an athlete, a musician, an actor, or a lifelong friend, Club Shay Shay is a place where people share inspiring and motivational stories about their journeys to prominence. The new episode drops every Monday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe to Club Shay Shay now and make sure you never miss a new episode. Now, back to Speak For Yourself.
And welcome to Speak For Yourself. Marcel Swally with a nervous. Yeah, I'm saying it. I heard you just 5 seconds ago. I'm nervous
Every
today.
now and then before the red light comes on, I get nervous.
You get nervous, really?
Oh, you know.
Why are you nervous? I'm just ready for this moment.
I guess.
Tell the truth.
You're right.
Yeah, my dog ready, and he lost these swag wars today, so he should be feeling a certain type of way. Let's get it started with big news in Houston, where Deshaun Watson has requested to be traded by the Texans, according to reports. This follows last night's news that Houston hired Ravens assistant David Culley to be their next head coach. By all accounts, Watson has been furious with the Texans for a while after not being consulted about their GM hire. Watson signed a 4-year, $156 million extension in September that includes a no-trade clause. So, Acho, should the Texans honor Watson's trade demand?
They should.
Little hesitation.
It's because they got to, big dog.
Oh, okay.
Like, in my heart of hearts, I'm thinking, they shouldn't honor that. But you can't force someone to love you.
Ooh.
In a relationship or in a football field or on a team. You can't force someone to love you, Marcellus. Trust me, I've tried.
I see, single.
tried.
I see, single.
Love me, please. Love me.
It ain't working.
It ain't working, big dog. So you have no choice. If you can't force Deshaun Watson to love you, what's your alternative? Think about this, Marcellus. When people get divorced, what do they cite? They cite irreconcilable differences. So for the Houston Texans, are these differences able to be reconciled? And it appears not. Why does it appear not? Because Deshaun Watson, he said he wanted a say in the GM hire. Well, that went wrong. Next thing you know, he gets an apology from the man in charge in Cal McNair. Okay, you get your apology. We hear the rumblings of he wants a black head coach. Never heard that from Deshaun's mouth. They hire a black head coach.
Okay, gotcha.
Still wants out. Not only still wants out, but shortly after hiring the black head coach in David Culley, that's when he officially requests a trade per the reports. So the differences appear to be irreconcilable. As a result, what's your move, Texans? You just finna try to hold him hostage against his will? Now you gonna play for us. You gonna love me, Deshaun. You gonna love, You see what I bought you? You gonna love, that's not gonna work. So the Texans should honor Deshaun Watson's trade demand, particularly because they have no other alternative.
Look, Acho, they shouldn't honor Deshaun Watson's trade demand. I am going to listen and talk for my heart of hearts, as you did, but you ignored it. Being real, they don't have to trade him. Like, let's just start in the conversation of value and leverage, because he's so valuable to this franchise. But he's also valuable if he's out there on the trade market. We understand that, correct? So let's talk about the fact that the Houston Texans hold all the cards, all the cards. If you don't understand what that means in this dynamic, it's this. Deshaun Watson, with his no trade clause, only can say yes or no to where they want to trade him. But there's a scenario where we don't want to trade you. So you're not going to say yes or no to anything because no one is saying we're trading you. You are staying here. Now, Deshaun Watson's like, I'm not going to play for you guys. They're like, okay, that's fine. But who needs $40 million more this year? The Texans franchise and organization? Cal McNair? Or you, Deshaun Watson? Oh, you don't want to play? Okay, that's fine. We know we can go through grievances, suspensions, penalties, fines, etc. Oh, you can say, I'm hurt. I'm hurt. My back, my neck and my back. Remember, we've been there before. Those vague injuries. Oh, my lower back. Where? We don't see anything on the MRI. Okay, and I know this for fact. A lot of former players go through this in terms of surveillance. You ever seen the surveillance on a workers' comp case? Somebody say, yeah, man, I'm out. I got this issue. And they'd be like, who that dude in that unmarked sedan every day in front of my house? Look, they can do surveillance if you want to play these kind of games. But here's the realest of the part of this conversation.
What's the real?
It's really sad to see that they're in this place just because Deshaun Watson doesn't feel good about the process and the Houston Texans' future. How are you Deshaun Watson, who signs on in September, bruh? That's 4 months ago, Acho. You sign on, and not only do you sign on, but you are accusing them of lying, of telling you're going to be a part of a process that you weren't. Accusations of lies. Tell me if Deshaun Watson is telling the truth or a lie when he comes out in September with Bill O'Brien as his coach and as his GM and no DeAndre Hopkins and says, quote, "It's just an amazing moment for me," tears going down his face, "to be able to extend my career in a location, in a place, in a home. I would say that my family loves, that I love." Another tear. "I want to continue to dive into the community. And most of all, just continue to build my legacy. Just build our legacy." Where the our? Watch your pronouns, bro. "As a whole, and do something that we've never done before." Last time I checked,
What, Marcellus?
sounds like a lie to me right now, and it's hard to do any of that if you quit during the process, if you quit at the first sign of adversity. This team
my God, don't
had
do
come
this.
off of
Don't do this.
two 10-win
Don't
seasons.
do this.
Finally, he comes out there and has his best year, but the team doesn't, and now he wants to cry.
Marcellus, first and foremost, if somebody paid me $150 million, I promise you I'll be boo-hooing. Fox, if y'all cut me $150 million check,
say anything?
you ain't gonna see nothing but tears coming down these eyes. I promise I'm gonna be boo-hooing. So I can understand Deshaun Watson's overwhelming emotions at that moment. And you know what emotions do.
Oh, I've been there.
They make you say some things you don't
No,
mean.
dog.
They do.
Do you sign on and cry about something you earned, or are you lying in this moment? Look, when you earned it, you ain't even got to lie.
Let me
You're
say
telling
this.
the truth.
Let me say
He
this.
earned this money.
I've started to figure out the issue at hand.
Oh, let's go.
Again, a previous relationship. Emmanuel, you told me this. You told me that. Emmanuel, you told me this. How dare you now come and say that to this? I said I didn't lie to you. That was my truth in the moment.
Oh, God, no wonder you single.
Deshaun Watson didn't lie to the Texans. He didn't lie to Texans fans. He didn't lie to you. He didn't lie to me.
Okay.
That was his truth in the moment. The moment has changed. The moment has passed. Marcellus, you can't put a price tag on happiness. I'm saying that now.
That's
I'm going to
real.
say this again later in the show.
I'm with you.
Deshaun Watson is like, look, man, I don't want to waste my best years here. Arian Foster did. Andre Johnson did. J.J. Watt did. I've seen players greater than I suffer more than I.
Okay.
So why would I walk down the path that they did? You told me, Marcellus, for the world to see a couple days ago, a fool learns from his own mistakes, a wise man learns from the mistakes of
others. Yeah.
Deshaun Watson is learning from the mistakes of Andre Johnson, big bro. Learning from the mistakes of big bro J.J. Watt. Learning from the mistakes of Arian Foster. And he's like, I'm not going to be a fool. I'm just trying to be a wise man. The Texans honor that because there's a way where it can be a win-win.
No, I'm sorry. One, why sign if you are going to sit here now and change with the moment like Acho does?
Show me the money.
Also, they paid you. They paid you
Yes,
to
sir.
compromise your integrity. They paid you to not have a proper
Why
forecast.
are you doing this?
Dog, I'll keep it one thou wow. And if Deshaun don't want to talk to me when I see him again, okay. Can't miss what I ain't had because we ain't talking right now, big dog. And I got love for this dude in terms of his game. Even more love for the character perception
no question.
of who he
No
is.
question. Good
But
dude.
boy, is that taking a hit right now if you really are looking at this situation and looking at it objectively. Be real, big dog. You just said he told the truth in that moment.
Yes, sir.
You know what I would push back, like all the women in your life who have heard you say the truth in just those moments,
all of them.
and it's a fleeting moment.
Couple of them.
Here's the thing. Okay, Deshaun, you told the truth in September, but right now you're acting brand new. Somebody ever push back on you and say, you know what? This doesn't add up to that, so you're acting brand new. Deshaun Watson in September was crying. I love Outback Steakhouse. It's the best thing ever. Now, I'm on it. I got a new Gucci bag. I'm eating at Avra, Cats. If it ain't that, it ain't me. Like, Deshaun, no one forced you to sign on to a bad situation. And last time I checked, this is the problem. He doesn't know his value in the organization. I think he's overextending himself, overplaying his hand. I'm going to give you some numbers. Here's the real. 29 and 27, including playoffs. I've told you the names of the guys, 4 quarterbacks, Brian Hoyer, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Brock Osweiler, and Matt Schaub had the exact same record. Oh, Deshaun has 2 playoff appearances. They had 2 playoff appearances. So evenly matched, symmetrical, as my son is talking about right now, learning in his class in kindergarten. Here's some quarterbacks with better winning percentages as a starter than Deshaun Watson. Mitch Trubisky, come on, big dog, you can't be there. Teddy Bridgewater, Ryan Tannehill, Jared Goff, trade block, Tyrod Taylor, lungs, Nick Foles. Come on, big dog. You can't be in that company.
Where's your point?
My point is you're flex. Oh, you want to get to your point because this is starting to hurt you, huh?
What's your point?
Death by 1,000 paper cuts. That's my point. Deshaun Watson is acting like he's something he's not.
Whoa.
Here we go. Can I get this out? Can I get this out? I'm going to tell you why. Because I don't care about your individual performance at the most important position. I care about the translation of that performance. And last time I checked, that's in wins and losses, brother. Deshaun Watson, 7-19 against playoff teams. Huh? You want to talk about guys who have a better win percentage against playoff teams? Blake Bortles, Case Keenum, Marcus Mariota. Dog, this is how it looks when you're on the other side of the table. Someone needs to tell him, hey, man, they got your rights to 2028. They could franchise you once, twice, and 3 times. Where are you going unless they want you to go somewhere?
Sal,
you mad at me now, huh?
I'm not mad. I'm a little upset, but I'm calm down because the suit is too tight and I'm going to break the seams.
You mad.
Don't talk to me about Deshaun Watson's translation of his performances if he has a bad translator. And the translator is the defense and all the other pieces. Sal, I've told you this before. Your boy goes to Nigeria every summer, big dog. And we go to Nigeria with about 40 doctors and nurses from America doing this medical mission work.
Don't tell me about how much money y'all spend over there.
No. While we there, bruh, every now and then we'll go. If we're there on a Sunday, we'll hit church on a Sunday. But the problem is we're with 40 Americans, so we got to get the sermon translated because they're speaking in the native Nigerian tongue. Yeah. So the Nigerian pastor, he'll get up there, chuku ga da 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 da, you know what I'm saying, speaking in real Igbo. And then all of a sudden the translator will be like, Jesus loves you. That's not what he said.
He said 10 things. You said one.
You said one.
I'm mad at you.
That's not what he said.
Move your hands off fast. Say that.
That's not what he said.
All right,
the problem is, big dog,
you're right.
Deshaun Watson, you lead the NFL in passing yards, a 70% completion percentage. You lead the NFL in yards per attempt, but it's translated. And Marcellus, all you hearing is how they went 4-12. I'm like, that's not what he said. Deshaun Watson went crazy. He didn't go. Yes, the team went 4-12, but Deshaun went crazy. Don't blame Deshaun Watson for a bad translation. The defense is a bad translation. Lack of a head coach, bad translation. No number 1 receiver, bad translation. No management, bad translation. But don't put that on big dog Deshaun Watson now.
Now, okay, Acho, if I give you that point, then I'm also going to take points away from Deshaun Watson in terms of leadership. Because this is the first year of true adversity. Maybe he didn't see it coming because he signed that deal, but I think he did see it coming. He knew Hopkins was gone. He knew that Bill O'Brien was a bad GM, and he still said, where's the pen? And he signed on to that. And 4 months later, after a 4-12 record where everybody pumping you up but clowning your team, you want to depart the team. Okay, Deshaun, you're the type of person when adversity hits you, you want to look at everyone else and say, I did my part. So when we're doing well, yeah, it's on me. But when we did bad, it's on y'all. That's fine. But leave a dysfunctional Texans organization and go where? Because guess what? Wherever you go, they have to sign off. And probably that's not going to be a good situation. More dysfunction. But if you're a guy who runs from dysfunction, are you ever going to stay still? Wherever you go, Deshaun, there you are. Say something to me, man. Help me.
We can't say that Deshaun Watson runs from adversity. He runs through adversity. Remember, his rookie year, big dog, he's benched for Tom Savage, if I'm not mistaken. Benched his rookie year. Deshaun Watson starts on the bench. He wasn't benched. He starts on the bench his rookie year because of a dude, Tom Savage. Then he comes
He's a rookie, though.
He comes in and starts balling. Deshaun Watson, 19 touchdowns, 8 picks. But then he tears his ACL. On the way to an MVP caliber season.
In practice.
Tears his ACL, battles back from that to come back the next year, 26-9, they go to the playoffs. He doesn't run away from adversity. He looks at adversity in the eye.
That's all physical.
All just runs through it.
Oh, I can't give you that.
You've been hurt. You know, getting back from injury.
First of all, every player ever on any level, you don't have to go pro. Your freshman year, your rookie year, chances are you may get played. You go, that's just what happens. Right? A passage, as they call it. You got to go through the fire. So I'm not going to give him the rookie year stuff. They made a mistake. He outplayed their mistake.
What about the ACL?
The ACL, look, injuries happen. All I know is you gave me yards, and we know that sometimes that's a
can be empty. Yep.
Yeah.
What about completion percentage?
I love that. I love that. But this is an empty carb conversation, empty calories, bad carb conversation, I should say. Because I believed in his character. I believed that he could be the center point, the epicenter of something good. But now the 1 year is bad on his watch when he did his part. He wants to leave the situation, bro.
Talk to me.
Look, the organization, he's doing himself no favors in terms of human capital. Think about this, Acho. Deshaun Watson right now is flexing. And it's funny that the trade demands come out today. You know why? They hired a coach, and then they know that this ain't doing it for Deshaun Watson. So now, leverage and value, we're going to leak out. They leaked out the Texans. We're going to leak out so everybody knows Deshaun is available. Quietly behind closed doors, he ain't going nowhere unless they give up the farm for him. So now we want to see where his value is, because if this gets ugly, his value goes down. But in terms of leverage, Deshaun has no leverage. He can't say, I'm going to sit out till 2028. He can't say, I don't want the $40 million a year. And he can't sit there and say, I'll pay the fines. Here's the fines. Deshaun Watson, $96,000 for missing minicamp. Okay, you gonna miss that? Go ahead. That ain't that much, I guess. $50,000 per day for missing training camp. Go ahead. $620,000 for each preseason game missed, and they could collect $21.6 million if he retires. All the incentives are in the Texans' favor. How's he gonna flex?
A wise philosopher, one of the wisest men who ever lived.
What rapper?
He said this.
What?
He said this. I'm just here so I don't get fined. What you think Deshaun Watson about to do? Give it to me. He finna show up and say, I'm just here so I don't get fined, like that wise philosopher Marshawn Lynch said.
So
now,
what?
again,
What does that mean?
What that means is Jalen Ramsey never got fined. Earl Thomas never got fined.
Those are not the same
Now,
situations.
Trent Williams, I believe he had, $14 or so million in lawsuits. But if you are wise and if you are tactful, there is a way to play the situation. Show up, Deshaun. You just don't gotta, you can throw the ball over your receiver's head every single play if you want to.
2028?
No, but you could for the first 30 days. I can't until like, you know what? Let's get rid of you. Because why disrupt the team? Big dog, let me go here. I'm going to take you to another layer. I'm going to take you to another layer of the cake. I know you like cake, so hopefully you like this layer. Now, look, Sel. If coaches are just as cocky as players, you know that like I know that.
Oh, yeah, egos.
GMs are just as cocky as players, you know that like I know that. So if you're a GM or a coach rolling into the Texans organization, you know what you're thinking? Deshaun, I don't even need you, bruh. Think about Nick Caserio. You went 7-9 with Cam Newton as your starter for 15 games. If you can go 7-9 with Cam Newton, you looking at Deshaun like, you only went 4-12, bro. Go ahead, get up out of here.
Say
if you, David Coley, new head coach just coming from the Ravens, you like, look, we went to the playoffs 3 years straight with Lamar Jackson, and Lamar Jackson can't really throw like that, contrary to what y'all think.
Chill.
So if we can go 3 times with Lamar, I don't need you, Deshaun. So we're acting here as if the Texans just desperately, out of so much humility and desire, need Deshaun. You know them cocky GMs and cocky head coaches. They looking around like, we probably don't even need you no way.
Boom! Boom!
What's up?
And that's why Deshaun need to be shook right now, because they have options where he doesn't. His options are either to sit out, potentially, or you're going to go all the way, as they say. You really you want to die on this hill? You want to go to this extent all the way to 2028? No, you're not. So now you're trying to do something else. Versus the Texans, we don't have to trade you. Oh, we going to lose money with Deshaun Watson, or he's going to look bad and the team's going to lose. NFL teams have a dual scoreboard. Wins and losses, let's try and get that Lombardi trophy. Also, even in losing, they print money. They make money even in losing. The New York Knicks, let's talk about that. New York Knicks was the most profitable organization, and the New York Knicks ain't smelled nothing close to a championship. It happens in the NFL as well. Dog, these billionaires look at the NFL as a hobby. You know why? They don't make their money. Think about it. They don't make their money in the NFL. This is the side stash. And Deshaun Watson is messing with someone's hobby. They are not going to take that lightly, bro.
Let me say something. I'm going to take you somewhere I don't know if you want to go.
I want to go
everywhere. But you said, Deshaun Watson, do you want to die on this hill? I think Deshaun Watson is weighing his 2 options. I can either die on this hill or die in this valley, but it looks like either way I'm going to die. J.J. Watt, if there was truly a Captain America in real life, he would be named J.J. Watt, an American hero and NFL legend. 20 sacks, 17 sacks, 16 sacks. J.J. Watt, the leader of all men, the leader of all leaders, he hasn't been able to write this Texans organization. J.J. Watt, a first ballot Hall of Famer, hasn't been able to write this Texans organization. So Deshaun Watson, who spent his 4 years looking at J.J. Watt, everything J.J. Watt is and stands for, and J.J. Watt can't get it done, Deshaun is looking like, who am I? Who am I to think I can get it done? So Deshaun Watson's options are this. Either I'm a die in this valley or I might just survive on this hill.
Look, it sounds poetic. It sounds great in literature. In reality, it doesn't make any sense because, look, you already knew J.J. Watt's career when you were there. You already knew Andre Johnson's career before you got there. And you still signed on for that ride, that journey, that may have peaks and valleys, may have those situations where it's adverse. But you're going to dip from it? You're going to run from it? Oh, I guess anybody who is not in a position where they think they can win a championship, abort mission. That's what's problematic about this. Let me say my last point.
Don't get stressed, big dog. Don't get stressed. We got a long show.
You know why? Because if our leaders fail us like this, and Deshaun Watson to me is a leader. If Deshaun Watson is going to fail the NFL players who look up to...
He's not failing himself.
Hey, okay. I'm going to tell you how.
You hurt my heart.
I'm going to tell you how. I don't know how his career is going to turn out. I don't know if he goes somewhere else and balls out. I don't know if he goes somewhere else and it's the same situation, just different uniform. I don't know, and I don't really care. All I care about is when I saw him play and I saw the leadership abilities he had and possessed, I thought that was going to be able to translate through the osmosis through the team. I thought he was going to build something up. But instead, he wants to go somewhere else and do it. That's fine. That's the way he wants to go out. But the lack of communication, the horrible miscommunication, the lies that have been told, while they're apologizing to him, he's tweeting cryptic about it. To me, man, this is not the way you go about business, especially when the owner is sitting there loving you to the tune of $160 million. Coming up at the top of the hour, Tom Brady led his Bucs to the Super Bowl, but we'll tell you if he's actually getting too much credit for their success. But first, we have more on Brady. We'll tell you if he's more valuable to Tampa than Patrick Mahomes is to KC. More spicy chicken nuggets coming up next. Hey, speak for yourself, listeners. I wanted to tell you about our brand new Fox Sports app and website, foxsports.com. Reimagined for the modern sports fan. Go ahead, download the new app now. You don't even have to pause this episode. Every day on the new app and website, you'll see the top stories in sports, plus a rich world of written content, videos, social media, and analytics to give you a 360-degree view of the most important stories of the day. Streaming live TV has never been so easy or elegant. Every Fox Sports game, including all pregame and postgame shows, are just one click away. For the extra invested fan, we also go deep with real-time wagering lines, trending prop bets, win probability, and key player projections. So download the new Fox Sports app or visit www.foxsports.com.
Welcome back to Speak for Yourself. Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady are a little over a week away from facing off for the Lombardi Trophy. Mahomes has led the Chiefs to the Super Bowl 2 years in a row, and KC has only lost once this season when he was in the lineup. On the other side, Tampa won 4 more games in the regular season with Tom Brady, and they're headed to the Super Bowl for the first time since 2002. So, Marcellus, let's get into this debate. Not the GOAT debate, but a debate of value. Who's more valuable to their team, Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady?
Oh, of course it's Tom Brady. Let's keep this simple. Let's start here. Which team was worse before the quarterback got there? Which one? You know the question. You know the question. Oh, you going to do this? You going to leave me hanging? Okay, I'll answer it. Tampa Bay, Tom Brady. Okay, so if you're starting from a worse starting point, who had the greater impact? Who had the greater difference? Who's more valuable to their situation? Tom Brady in Tampa Bay. Now, we could go wins and losses, and that's an easy argument. I hope you want to go down that on your lap, because then I'll destroy that. But let's talk about this. What you can't necessarily see, the things that matter most, which is confidence, which is belief, which is everything that Tom Brady's been able to do in terms of what this organization looked like before him and what they look like right now. We're not even going to talk about ticket sales and fandom and how people are just clamoring to this team and jersey sales. Let's just talk about how the players are playing better, not necessarily in numbers. Not talking about individual performances, collectively playing better. That's what Tom Brady brings to this situation. Tom Brady goes to a situation which is simple. They had a head coach that was up and down in terms of success. At least that's what Acho tells me all the other times. He had 3 winning seasons, 3 non-winning seasons. He goes to a situation where you look at them, they had good receivers, but those receivers never been in the playoffs before, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. He goes to a team that 2 of the last 3 years, the defense was ranked, in the bottom 3. 29th and 31st. Then they got a little better, but then they got a lot better because Tom Brady made all these guys understand how to play the game and, more importantly, to believe in themselves as they play the game. So It's kind of simple. I can take shots at Patrick Mahomes, but I'm waiting for the other side before I hear it.
Marcellus, it's actually, you overcomplicated such a simple matter. I don't fault you. You went to Columbia. You're smart. But sometimes you're a little too smart for yourself, for your own good.
Let's go.
Patrick Mahomes is more valuable because the Chiefs' success is contingent upon Patrick Mahomes' success.
Is it?
It absolutely
Not
is.
Andy Reid?
It's contingent upon Patrick Mahomes' success. Think about Tom Brady, Sel. Tom Brady has had 3 consecutive games in the playoffs with a completion percentage below 56%. Like, that is terrible. And if you want to know just how bad it is, look at the context of the other quarterbacks in the last 3 seasons to do so. Tom Brady, a man, your boy, Trent Dilfer, and another man, Joe Flacco. Those are the 3 quarterbacks over the last 30 years with consecutive games, completion percentage under 56%. If Tom Brady's name was, call him Baker Mayfield, we'd be saying Tom Brady's getting carried to this Super Bowl. But because his name is Tom Brady, we're talking about how he is galvanizing and carrying his team to the Super Bowl. We're letting our feelings get in the way of the facts. The last thing, because I'll give you a number here. Chiefs offense, number 1 in the NFL. Their defense, number 16 in the NFL. Bucs offense, number 7 in the NFL. Their defense, number 6 in the NFL. So even if you want to get away from everything else, besides the fact that the Chiefs team is predicated upon their offensive success, the Buccaneers team is predicated upon their collective success. That's really all you got to get to, big dog. Chiefs go as the offense go. Offense goes as Mahomes go. Bucs, they go is everybody go.
You ever been in Kansas City? I have. Many a times played there. You played there, obviously. No?
Nah, never in Kansas City.
You never played at Arrowhead? You have not played in the NFL yet. Like, dog.
What about Seattle?
Man, I was about to say, shout out to the 12th man, but I don't know how many men they got in KC. 13, 14, 15. It's too damn loud. Oh, God. KC is the best place to play. I digress. But I go there a lot, and I hear this song. We built this city. And then, you know, everybody think they know the lyrics. We built this city on Andy Reid. You know why they built this city on Andy Reid? Because let's talk about the 3 years before Patrick Mahomes got there. Everybody want to act like Patrick Mahomes did all this. No, Patrick Mahomes landed on third base and thought he hit a triple. That's who Patrick Mahomes is. Good for you for bringing it home. But damn it, this thing was already built. You go to one of the greatest head coaches in NFL history. 5th most wins in NFL history, that same head coach, who has a tight end who's on one of the greatest 5-year stretches in the history at that position, and Travis Kelce. Also to the greatest deep threat, yes, I'm going to say it, the NFL has ever seen. You want to know why? Because in his 5 years, he has more 50-yard touchdowns than even Randy Moss. Tyreek Hill, who I'm talking about. Oh, Patrick Mahomes landed on third base, dog. Let's talk about how they were winning before he even got there. 12 wins, 11 wins, 11 wins, 10 wins. 4 out of 5 years they were in the playoffs that close. Like I told you yesterday, Andy Reid built that foundation. And the only difference, the only bump you're seeing is the difference between Alex Smith, who is a good quarterback, and Patrick Mahomes, who's out of this world. But, bruh, he didn't round the bases. He started off on third base because Andy Reid was in the building doing the same thing he did in Philadelphia, replicating that in KC.
But here's what we know, big dog. Come on, Andy Reid had runners on third base year after year after. Could nobody get home?
But nobody get home. Nobody's Patrick Mahomes.
And that's the point.
Yeah.
That's the point. Who's more valuable?
No.
Patrick Mahomes, because Patrick Mahomes finally got Andy Reid what Andy Reid couldn't get by himself.
Boom. He's more valuable to Andy Reid than Donovan McNabb and Alex Smith. But in this conversation, there was another team. Let's talk about them. They didn't make the playoffs in the 3 seasons before Tom Brady got there in Tampa Bay. Matter of fact, they have the most losses of any franchise in NFL history. Oh, you thought that's bad? How about this? The most losses of any franchise in all major sports. That's where Tom Brady went to. He went to a place like you went to. You said you was in the hood, right? You said you saw some lawns that didn't have grass, right? You saw dirt and rocks and weeds. That's where Tom Brady went. Patrick Mahomes, dog. You in Beverly Hills talking about how nice it is. We get it, bruh. And then all you did was whoop out a whip that somebody else already had for you. It's a difference in the gap, the disparity of improvement in Tampa.
I respect that. I respect that.
Have to.
But here's what I will also say. We can't act as though every landmark is created equal. Okay. Meaning, getting to the playoffs is not the same as winning a playoff game, which is not the same as winning a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
See, winning the Super Bowl is... You ever watch Family Feud?
I do.
Great. I love Family Feud. Shout out
Richard
Steve
Dawson.
Richard Dawson, not Steve Harvey?
Well, I mean, the OG, though.
I'm going new school. Okay. Family Feud. You can win the first round. you can win the second round.
Okay.
But that third round is triple money. So if you win that third round, it actually trumps what occurs in that first and second round. Don't brag to me about what you did in the first and second rounds of Family Feud. All that matters is what you do in that third round of Family Feud. Because in that third round is what gets you to that big money round when you can win that 10 or 25,000.
Yeah.
So I understand Andy Reid, he won the first round. Andy Reid, he won the second round. Even Tom Brady this year, he's won the first round. He's won the second round. But now we're talking about that triple money round. Now we're talking about that third round. Don't create all rounds equal, Sal, because you know they not.
Dog, I just told you a franchise and a team that has the most losses of any franchise that plays sports versus KC that had the third best winning percentage in the NFL over the 3 years before Patrick Mahomes even showed up. Patriots, Steelers, KC. And that's where he landed. Huh? And you trying to act like he has the most value over somebody that went to somewhere that was at the bottom. Literally at the bottom. There's a huge difference. Dog, I'm from the bottom, so trust me. You ain't gonna sit there and tell me somebody else, well, I'm third generation Columbia, and someone say, well, who had a harder climb? Me, I'm over here, right? And it's okay. We got to the same place, but in a different way. Tom Brady is doing this in year one with no continuity. Let's stay in Family Feud since you got a lot of free time, obviously, to be watching Family Feud all the time. I've seen reunion shows when they come back. See, what you don't understand is, I don't know if Patrick Mahomes really killed it on the first episode he was on, but they brought him back. And when they brought him back, he felt more comfortable. He felt better. You know why? Because one, this ain't his first go-around. Two, Andy Reid, that's your partner right there, dog. You got Andy Reid. You are this close to success. When you have Bruce Arians being real, that's not the same starting point.
That's fair. I will give you that.
Come on,
but
man.
let's personalize things. Let's get uncomfortable in these chairs. Okay. If you yield the same output, right? Say it, Fox, if two shows yield the same output, sell the same amount of commercials, do the same thing as far as yielding the same output, then the person who has to do more is more valuable. Two shows yielding the same output, the show that's longer is more valuable. If you and I are doing the same show, if you're in 6 of the 8 segments and I'm only in 2 of the 8 segments, then you're more valuable to the show. If a show is longer than our show and we yield the same output, they're more valuable to the network. Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes have yielded the same output, a Super Bowl appearance right now. Yielded the same output. But Patrick Mahomes has done more to get them to that Super Bowl based upon the numbers. Patrick Mahomes is doing more while yielding the same output. Therefore, he's more valuable.
I don't see it that way, even though I like what you're setting up. I like the construction of it, because last year, this same offense that was number 1 in yardage, number 3 in points, Tampa Bay, they had a guy that was giving you output. And people were like, yeah, you were outputting to my house, to the neighbor's house, to the opponent's house. Like everybody was getting some of that output. But then Tom Brady cleaned all that up. Versus Patrick Mahomes, tremendous. You're a Super Bowl champion and you're repeating. But God, you're starting from a high. You know it's much more difficult to build something than to just go over there and it's already ready-made. Every Christmas when you open your gifts, first thing you do is you say, did they get what I want? Then you're like, yes, that's what I want. Then you check, do they need batteries? Because I know my mama didn't buy no batteries. And then after that, you say, do I have to assemble it, right? Tom Brady looked under the tree and said he had to assemble and still wasn't discouraged. It's Tom Brady, come on. Coming up, the Lakers took an L last night, but we'll tell you if they have bigger question marks than the Clippers. That's next. Speak for yourself.
Hey, Speak for Yourself listeners. It's Charlotte Wilder here to tell you about my new podcast with Mark Titus called the People's Sports Podcast. It comes out every Thursday, and Mark and I take one of the big stories of the week, and then we go off on tangents you never saw coming. This might mean that we start talking about the Dodgers winning the World Series and end up wondering if Knicks fans deserve happiness. Or begin with LeBron's greatness and end up drafting our ultimate beer league softball team made up of old athletes. Whatever it is, the only rule of the show is that it has to be fun and funny, because these days we could all use as many laughs as we can get. So check it out wherever you get your podcasts and come down weird sports rabbit holes with us. We can't wait to have you. Now, back to Speak for Yourself.
Saturday, Caleb Plant, one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in boxing, puts his perfect record and super middleweight title on the line against Caleb Truax. Saturday, 8 Eastern on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Take this out, Joe. Welcome back. Let's get to the NBA battle right here. And la, 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 my Clippers Lost Tuesday, so what? But they were without Kawhi Leonard and Paul George and Patrick Beverly for COVID protocol. But before that, they had won 7 straight games. That's right. The other LA squad, the Lakers, lost in the closing seconds last night to the Sixers and dropped to second in the Western Conference. Got to bring in our guy, Fox NBA analyst, Slick Rick the Bucher. But Acho, which team has bigger question marks? My Clippers or the Lakers?
Yo, it's obviously the Clippers, people. This is a silly, silly question. We're still trying to figure out, can the Clippers coach that squad? Ty Lue, he coached under Doc Rivers for the entirety of his career, except for when he was with LeBron James, when his chip with LeBron James. Well, Bron ain't there for you no more, Ty Lue, and neither is Doc Rivers. So can Ty Lue coach that squad? Meanwhile, we all blame Doc Rivers, myself included. Who's the number 1 team in the East and who is their oh, this is awkward. So that's my first question. My second question is, what's really good with PG and Kawhi? Still trying to figure that out. Because the last time we saw them, Choke City. Now, the real issue at hand for why this is so simple is this. Slick, Sell, what question mark has LeBron James ever left unanswered? LeBron James tends to every and any question. Is he the chosen one? Can he live up to the hype? Check. Eric Spoelstra, will he be able to redeem him from not being able to get out the first round? Check. Anthony Davis, AD, he can't win a playoff series, can't win multiple playoff series. LeBron, answer that question. Any question you've ever asked about LeBron James, he has answered. So why will I continue to have a question about someone who quite literally should be called the answer? I understand that was already reserved for AI, but LeBron James can go ahead and take that title along with the king because he provides all answers. I'm not silly enough to ask a dumb question because there are some dumb questions, contrary to what your teachers tell you.
Acho, I may be slick, but you are smooth. Way to flip the whole concept of this conversation. What question has LeBron not answered? That doesn't mean that there can't be questions. And I'll get to LeBron in a second. But there are plenty of questions to be asked about these Lakers collectively. And I'll be honest, I didn't have this at the beginning of the season. The moves that they made, the additions that they made, Montrezl Harrell, Marc Gasol, Wes Matthews. I looked at all those and said, yeah, they got Dennis Schroeder. They got more athletic. They got younger. This is exactly what they needed. I did have a few concerns. Is Marc Gasol washed? Is he what we saw in Toronto? I was assured that they were going to be okay. But usually when you go and play with if you're a role player and you play with great players, the game gets easier and your efficiency goes up. And we have not seen that with Marc Gasol. We've not seen that with Montrezl Harrell. We haven't seen that with Wes Matthews. They're actually, I can't believe it, Lakers fans probably having a shock. They might be missing Danny Green a little bit based on what they saw against Philadelphia last night. And on the other hand, when I look at the Clippers additions, which I thought were nice and solid, all of those guys are doing what I expect them to do. Kennard is shooting career highs percentage-wise. Same with Nick Batum. And so it's not that I'm saying that the Clippers are convincingly better than the Lakers. That would be silly to make that point. But I came into the season thinking about the Lakers just rolling on. They were the prohibitive favorite. And then over these 18, 19 games, I've looked at it and said, well, the record looks nice, but those additions are not helping. And who have they beaten? There's only one quality team that they've beaten. It's a gaudy record. The Milwaukee Bucks are the only quality team. They haven't played a whole lot, but it's the only quality team that they've beaten. So at this stage, I feel as if, good or bad, I know what the Clippers are. I'm not sure. I have questions that the Lakers are actually better than the team that won the championship last year.
Ooh, slick. Okay, way to go deep. Let's go in the deep end, mess our hair up a little bit. Look, you said you came into the season thinking one way and kind of changed your mind. I came into this segment thinking one way, and I'm starting to change my mind. Let's be real about this. Look, who has bigger question marks to answer? It's the Clippers. Just be real about it. There's no bigger question mark of, can the Clippers break through this glass ceiling of the second round? Let's just be real about this. The middle round games, the Clippers up 3-1 in the series. Can they break through? Can they hold a lead? Those are the biggest question marks. Duh. But Slick, You got me thinking now, these Lakers got questions as well, because there are no perfect champions. Let's talk about this team right here in the Los Angeles Lakers. You would think that they're world beaters because of their record, best record in the NBA, best point per game differential in the NBA, top 7 scoring offense, which means they're 7th, and 2nd on defense. However, when you start to look at who have they beaten, and the Lakers are 2-4 against the top 6 seeds this season, including the loss to the 76ers last night. Lakers are 0-3 against top 6 seeds from the West. Lost to my Clippers, lost to the Blazers, lost to the Warriors, whatever. Okay, but my Clippers, 4-2 against the top 6 seeds this season, all from the West. Point is, when you see a Lakers team that now has lost a game on the road, you see a Lakers team that is 4-4 at home, so I don't even know how it's going to play out in the postseason, but no home court advantage. As much as I look at the Clippers and I say they have this global question to answer, can they make it to the Western Conference Finals despite their talent level? I'm looking at the Lakers like, okay, try and mail this one in, saying we're champions from last year and we got better additions. If it's not adding up to being a greater team, sounds like they have some question marks.
Yeah, Sal, the other part is with the Lakers, when it comes to LeBron, you're right, Acho. He's answered every time we've had a doubt. He's answered it. But there's one that he still has to answer, and that is, can he sustain this at 36 years old? Now, from what I've seen him, the way he's played this season, his efficiency has gone up. His array of shots has gone up. He's playing, we said it yesterday, it feels as if he's toying with the game at times. But there's a fine line between toying and measuring yourself and making sure that you can get to the finish line. And what I see in LeBron at this point is I don't see quite that same explosiveness. Now, he might be saving it, but when I see him with Joel Embiid at the three-point line, and granted, made a big play, but he couldn't get past Joel Embiid with a running start at the three-point line, I start to think, okay, we've just assumed that Father Time is never going to tap LeBron on the shoulder. But maybe, just maybe, we're starting to see that and he's become aware of it and he's having to adjust his game. It doesn't mean that he can't be great, but he might not be all that we've seen of LeBron.
Here's my issue,
one thing, Acho.
Go ahead.
One thing, last thing. It would be one thing if I was the only one who had questions. But it sounds as if even Anthony Davis has questions. He was asked about potentially playing Philadelphia in a 7-game series. This is what he had to say.
I think we had a good game plan. The free throws kind of got him going, and but I think our lineup and our group that we have is very capable of beating this team in a 7-game series.
Wait. Very capable. You are the defending champions.
Broke the eyebrow.
Philadelphia 76ers are the Clippers East. Like, when did they ever get out of the second round? You're very capable of beating the Sixers in a 7-game series. That should be, why are you even asking me that question? Unless, because you got smaller, because Montrezl Harrell isn't what Dwight Howard was.
Oh, you think?
Maybe you got that same question in your head. And maybe that's something that you still
just
have to
don't
prove.
want to sound ignorant, not ignorant. He don't want to sound ignorant.
How?
Slick, you know we watch some UFC fights. You can watch a boxing fight, whatever. You know what I can't stand? When somebody gets KO'd, TKO'd, whatever it is, and then they stand up after and they're like, I want a rematch. I know I could have beat him. It's like AD and them like, yo, we just lost. Okay, how dumb do I sound if I'm like, yeah, we just lost. Yeah, they don't want to see us in 7, though, because in 7, we going to handle business. That's what AD, he's just a cognitive thinker. But, Slick, my biggest issue is with this. You can't tell LeBron or ask LeBron, hey, I don't know if you can sustain, but then be mad at him when he's not going all out. It's a contradiction. Marcellus ran track, national champion, Slick, in case you've never watched
And
the show,
record holder.
He tells you every show.
Aware.
So,
thank
you.
E-Man, well aware.
We're all well aware. Now, Slick.
Al Bundy.
Now, Slick.
Yes.
In some of these meets, what Marcellus's coach probably told Marcellus was, hey, don't go all out in prelims. Just make sure you qualify for finals. right? Like, don't go all out. Just make sure you qualify. Now, Marcellus's track coach can't then be mad at Marcellus after Marcellus qualifies for being like, hey, why didn't you run any faster? Coach, you just told me just qualify. Yeah, but you should have ran faster. But coach, you just said Slick, I feel as though that's what you and some of us are doing. Like, wait a second, LeBron. Just make sure you sustain and get to the finals. But wait, LeBron, why didn't you beat the Clippers? But wait, LeBron, why didn't you beat the Sixers?
Nacho, it's human nature because he's 36 years old and he's played at this amazing level for all these years. At some point, it begins to slide. And considering how heavily the Lakers still rely upon LeBron James to be all that LeBron James can be, that has been it was my number one thing last year. Does he have enough help to be able to sustain this and get the job done? I'm asking the same question now, and I think it's a valid question, not because I doubt LeBron James. I just don't doubt the effects of Father Time.
Great points. Great points. Y'all went into it there. How about Father Time? Like, it's interesting. Everyone thinks that it has to be overt. It has to be explicit when you talk about how Father Time changes the athlete, how Father Time is undefeated. It doesn't have to slap you in the face. There are silent killers. It just starts to slow you down. You don't even see unless you look under a microscope. Then you're like, oh, you're not the same. Look at these silent killers that are killing the Lakers right now. 21st in free throw percentage. I know people are like, who cares about free throws? Well, those are free points. And when you're getting older or the team is not gelling the same, you need those. That's not good. 19th in turnovers this year. Oh, what's going on with the Lakers? Meanwhile, over there with the Clippers, they over there trying to make history in terms of their dynamic duo. Listen to the 50-40-90 combination they have going with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, and still averaging over 20 points per game. And I remind all you historians out there, only 4 players in history have been able to do that. Score over 20, 50-40-90. The Clippers may have 2 this year alone. Woo, it's going down. Coming up, Tom Brady has his Bucs in the Super Bowl, but we'll tell you if he's actually getting too much credit for their success. Too much? That's next. Speak for yourself. You're watching Speak for Yourself. Marcellus Wiley, Emmanuel Immaculate Acho, looking great in that purple. Let's head to Tampa Bay. But Tom Brady's looking great as well. And he's getting a lot of praise for leading the Bucs to their first trip to the Super Bowl since 2002. But according to Tampa's GM, Jason Light, it's not just about the GOAT. Light said, quote, there's a lot of talk of what Tom has done for this locker room, and it's all warranted, but what Gronk has done for this locker room is equally as amazing. Wow. So, Acho, is Tom Brady actually getting too much credit for the Bucs' success?
Yeah, too much sauce. Too much sauce. He getting too much credit, man. And this ain't just the defender in me speaking. We get so infatuated with Tom Brady's previous greatness that now, again, we're just giving all praise, all credit, all esteem to Tom Brady when there's other players out there doing it. Now, I don't want to put the wet blanket, if you will, on Tom Brady's greatness. I'm just going to speak some truth, and y'all deduce what y'all must. Tom Brady's first playoff win this year against, what was it, Taylor Heineke? Yeah.
Taylor Heineke.
Then Tom Brady's second playoff win this year against Drew Brees in his worst playoff performance.
Hold on. I ain't hear the explanation for Heineke. I want to hear for Drew Brees. That is Drew Brees' top 10 ever.
Tom Brady's fault. But for whatever reason, Todd Bowles in the defense, Drew Brees goes out there, and the Saints have 4 turnovers, the most turnovers that the Saints had all season long. Had nothing to do with Tom Brady. Had everything to do with that defense for the Buccaneers. Then the last playoff game, shout out to Tom Brady going to Lambeau Field and winning. But wait. Tom Brady, did you throw 3 interceptions in that game? You've only thrown 3 interceptions once all season and only thrown 3 interceptions 4 times in your illustrious playoff career. So, Tom Brady, y'all beat the Packers in that game, but you still ain't really ball. Wait a second, Tom Brady. Them last 5 drives, you only averaged 21 yards a drive. Furthermore, the last 5 drives, you had 3 points and 3 picks? Make that make sense, Tom Brady. You threw the ball to the other team as many times as you put points on the board. Come on now, Sale. So if we're talking about are we giving too much credit to Tom Brady? Yes. Not to say Tom Brady doesn't deserve credit. Not to say Tom Brady doesn't deserve a lot of credit. But just look at the playoffs. His defense has forced 7 turnovers in 3 games. Look at the playoffs. He played against Taylor Heineke. The defense put Drew Brees likely into retirement. And then against the Packers, Tom Brady, you ain't even played well. Yes, Tom Brady's a GOAT.
Yes, you said yes.
Yes, Tom Brady has been playing well for the season.
Yes.
But we give him too much credit, big dog.
As soon as I hear a yes to too much credit to Tom Brady going to that dusty old situation in Tampa Bay and making them a Super Bowl attendee, let alone maybe a Super Bowl championship squad, I know somebody out here hating. Yes, somebody's out here hating because the underappreciation for Tom Brady is carrying over from New England to now Tampa Bay. We heard this every single year about Tom Brady. Not as good as the success says he is. Okay, well, if you want to say that, go ahead. But last time I checked, Tom Brady is going for his 7th ring. 7th ring. And no other player in history has even played in 7 Super Bowls. If I were Tom Brady, God knows who to give that type of talent and that type of success to. Because if I were Tom Brady, it'd be no ambiguity in this situation, bro. I'd be out here flexing on you and shutting up haters that say something against his legacy. But let's talk about this situation. Because I know what Jason Light was going through. Look, be real, Acho. Tremendous success, overnight success. As they say in our business, inordinate success, 0 to 100 success. And Jason Light right now, he's just doing what everybody else would do, pounding a 6-pack of success stories. And you know what? Brady's the man. And guess who else? Oh, Gronk's the man. Read other articles. Antonio Brown's been spectacular. I asked you, Acho, because right now he seems drunk in all of this success. He's just saying anything, like you said about Scotty Miller. Oh, my God, we're in the Super Bowl, and yeah, I could be Tyreek Hill running. Like, he's just saying anything. Jason Light, I love you, big dog. You did your part. But calm down saying everybody did the same thing. Who's in contact with the team more, a general manager or the head coach?
Head coach.
Head coach. By far, it's not even close. Listen to what the head coach said about this situation. It's the belief he gave everybody in this organization that this could be done. It only took one man. In the conversation, Bruce Arians said it was Tom Brady. I'm sorry, Jason Light. I know you like Gronk. Gronk is cool to talk to at practice. He makes a lot of good jokes. All of that said, no one had the impact of Tom Brady. Oh, y'all need to stop hating on my boy. We got to bring in somebody who knows something about this situation. Our guy, Fox NFL analyst Greg Jennings. So, Greg, is Tom Brady actually getting too much credit for the Bucs' success?
Absolutely not.
Don't do that, G.
No. Are you kidding me? He is the sole reason why we're even having this conversation. Acho, you do this often. You always tell us, come on, I want y'all to pay attention to the question, America. You see how they trying to twist the question, America? It says, is Tom Brady getting too much credit for the Bucs' success? You're trying to make it seem like we don't understand that there's other players on the team. We understand that. We understand that you got to go out there with 11 guys on each phase of the game and of the field. But when you pay attention to a team that last year we weren't talking about, and they acquire one guy, and that guy then draws so much attention, and he then reaches over where we are and says, "Hey, Gronk, come join me down here in Tampa." Oh, now Gronk goes. But was Gronk going to go before Tom Brady ever got there? No. Was he going to have an impact in the Tampa Bay locker room before Tom Brady ever decided to go? No. It's what Marcellus is talking about, is what Bruce Arians is talking about. This is the Tom Brady effect. It's more than just what he's able to do on the football field. And yes, his numbers wasn't electric, but they were enough to get him to the Super Bowl. And we're watching, and everybody else is going to be watching. So obviously he been doing something, Macho. Come on, man.
Look, I'm going to take y'all somewhere y'all might not be ready to go. So put on your life rafts, Marcellus. Put on your little safety net.
That's 2 days in a row you act like I can't swim. Hey, bro, I can swim. Don't let it fool you. I can swim.
Okay, you're right. You lost this weight. You won't sink as fast. Now, look. Let me go here. Let me go here. Y'all track with me. Is it that Tom Brady deserves all this credit for what he's done in Tampa, or does Tom Brady deserve more credit for choosing the proper location? Because it's not just about the talent you have. Don't. Before y'all shake y'all's heads, really think.
Man.
It's not just about the talent you have. It's about where you go. Think, Tom Brady could have went to the Colts. Colts don't have the same offensive firepower that the Bucs have. Tom Brady could have went to the Chargers. Chargers don't know how to win a close game. Tom Brady could have stayed in New England. But New England ain't had no firepower. Tom Brady chose to go to a great destination, and I applaud Tom Brady's brilliance in doing that. So I'm going to personalize it so it's not just me talking crazy. I didn't have to come to this network. Could have stayed at another network. Been hosting a radio show. I wouldn't have changed my talent level, but would I have ascended to the heights that I thankfully have ascended to over the last several months? No, because by coming here, I end up in LA, and I end up partnering with cool people like Oprah. So it wasn't just about my talent. It was also about a destination. My point is this, Sal. Y'all are sitting here acting like, oh, Tom Brady, Tom Brady, Tom Brady. Gee, Sal, Tom Brady threw 3 picks last game, got severely outplayed by Aaron Rodgers. Drew Brees, 4 turnovers because the great defense of Todd Bowles and the Buccaneers. Week 1, Taylor Heineke. Who is Taylor Heineke? I'm not going to blame Tom Brady for who he's beaten. But what I am going to do is properly assess how much credit we give Tom Brady. That's all.
Boy, Greg, he acting like we didn't play and we're dumb. It's so funny, right? I mean, this dude got a shovel out. Cool people like Oprah. Oprah ain't people. She ain't that big. What you talking about? Cool people? Like, you didn't even say 2 people. You said cool person like Oprah. Cool people to partner with.
I didn't want to start listing them all.
You didn't want to say my name? I'm right here, homeboy. Cool people. And then one person.
Oh, my
Okay,
goodness.
you know what? Acho doesn't understand that the process starts even with the decision you make to start the process. You didn't understand this. Like, when I was a senior in high school, look, I'm going to be real about this, y'all. It's going to hurt some feelings.
What happened? What happened?
I had choices like you, Acho, and I chose to go to Columbia for one reason and one reason only. Because people are going to think I was smarter than I was. And I didn't know how smart I was. If I would have chosen the University of Texas, I don't think I would have been 1 ounce dumber. But people would have thought I was not as smart.
That's fair.
And that's fair. So the process starts even before you get there. So don't now all of a sudden take things away from Tom Brady because he was smart enough to know where will my talents be highlighted the best. It's the simple situation like that, Otto. You can't use that against the man. On top of the fact that they wouldn't be in this situation without Tom Brady. I could give you nuggets after nuggets, the 7-game winning streak, the #1 scoring offense. Boring. Tom Brady led them there. We know how great Tom Brady was, averaging 34 points a game. Tom Brady was killing it. But let me give you this. I'm going to use you against you, Acho, because I love you.
Don't do that. I'm a Bob and
one of your partners that you don't want to mention that is cool in L.A. When Baker Mayfield's teammates go out there and ball out, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, the defense, Acho credits Baker for doing all of that. He tried to do it Carson Wentz, but nothing goes well out there. But then when Tom Brady's teammates go and do well, you notice he starts to take away from Tom Brady. Make it make sense, University of Texas. Make it make sense.
I will make it make sense. And I'm now going to use you against you, if I may. Sal, you said you went to Columbia because people would assume you were smarter.
Yep.
Now, you may have been smarter or not, but people would assume you were smarter.
And doors open like
had
that.
you gone to Texas. Same reason I got my master's degree. I got my master's degree because I want to dismantle the dumb jock theory. Yeah. I'm not saying I'm any smarter or dumber, but it's going to increase my perception. The answer is in the question.
What?
If you're saying your perception of intelligence is increased, and my perception of intelligence is increased, then the perception of Tom Brady's credit has been increased because of the location.
No, man, you just coming up. You better get out of there. You messed that up. Hell no, that ain't it. Perception is not reality. You damn lie.
And we got an issue with Deshaun Watson demanding a trade. That's next.
Hey, you better get out of here. Call your cool people.
Welcome back to Speak for Yourself. Reports say Texan star quarterback Deshaun Watson has requested a trade. Now, this follows news that he has been furious with the team for not consulting him with their GM hire. Watson's trade demands come a day after news that Houston hired Ravens assistant David Coley to be their next head coach. Greg Jennings, NFL analyst, is back with us. But Marcellus, you up first. You got an issue with Deshaun Watson demanding a trade.
Yep, I got an issue with it. I have a few issues with it, but let me try and prioritize them. One is just, let me clarify that we shouldn't confuse that Deshaun Watson doesn't want to be or should be in a bad situation because he's a great player. No, he shouldn't have to be in a bad situation. But don't confuse that with, okay, you are in a bad situation. How are you going to play yourself out of that situation? I have an issue with that. The trade demand, the fact that for a month or so, the conversation has been about Deshaun Watson being unhappy with a process. The same process he didn't want and he knew he couldn't have decision-making in. So what part of the process do you need to be a part of? It just feels like he's just in his feelings. It just feels like he is really having an adult tantrum, which is fine. You can do that. This is your playing career. If you want to play it this way, play it this way. Not an issue. But it's certainly weird to me to see someone who's trying to flex when they can't fully flex, like Acho in them suits. Like, he be trying, but them tight, bruh. It's like, this is how Acho flexing them suits. Look, you can't try to pump me, but then you still need me. Hey, that's what it feels like, man. Deshaun Watson is trying to tell his organization what to do, but then he needs the organization to do it. Make that make sense, party people. Oh, because Deshaun is a top 5 quarterback. By what metric? By passing yards, yeah. By completion percentage or quarterback rating, yeah. But by wins and losses, nobody. We've had 4 suspect quarterbacks come through here in the last 4 years before you, Deshaun Watson, and y'all have the exact same record. And y'all have the exact same amount of playoff appearances. So make it make sense for me. I have an issue with him trying to go out there and really trying to put this organization in a bad light when he can work through these problems and be the savior for this same organization. But he wants to run and go somewhere else that's dysfunctional. So wherever you go, Deshaun, there you are, big dog, and good luck to you.
So I'm going to say something that might shock you, big dog.
You love me.
No. Oh. I have an issue with Deshaun Watson.
Let's go.
I got an issue with it. But I have an issue with it because I'm a moralist, if that's a word. I'm principle-based.
I hear you.
And I hate when things, whether it's a relationship, a friendship, a commitment, when things are unequally yoked or unequally tied. I hate that. I wouldn't have an issue with it had Deshaun not put a no-trade clause in his contract. But if you have a no-trade clause in your contract, you're now saying, hey, team, you're not allowed to trade me. How can you, therefore, go and demand a trade? I hate that. And the reason I have to hate it, even though I love Deshaun, I love everybody he rocks with, I love who reps him, even though I love all that, I have to hate this because what else I hate, even more than that, is the NFL. They have a contract which is only binding from the team to the player. It's not binding it's only binding from the player to the team. It's not binding from the team to the player. So I hate NFL contracts because you'll sign a 4-year, $20 million deal. That 4-year, $20 million deal, it's not binding from the team to you, player. It only means, player, you can't go nowhere for 4 years. But if we tired of you after 1 year, we're going to wipe our hands with you and pay you whatever money that we are on the hook for, but you're not getting that whole $20 million. I can't hate that NFL ideology and love this Deshaun Watson ideology. For that reason, I got an issue with Deshaun demanding a trade.
Wow.
Well, I can hate it, and I don't have a problem with him demanding a trade. I don't not one bit. And when you talk about the no trade clause, that's him trying to make sure that he has a say, that they can't just do whatever they so please and get rid of him how they choose to with a trade. So that's him trying to look out for him, which a lot of players wish we could have that no trade clause in our contract. Thank you. Anyway, but when it comes to Deshaun Watson and wanting out, he's everything that he possibly could. And this isn't he say, she say. This is coming from Deshaun Watson saying that management, they spoke to him and told him he would be a part. How much? We don't know. He didn't even know that part. But he said out of his own mouth, yeah, I'll be a part. I'll be included. And then to not be included, that's a slap in the face. We've all been in teams, multiple teams, and almost every team has what they call a players' council or a leadership group where they grab the leaders of the team and they bring them together just to see what the feel is, what the temperature is in the locker room, so that can be echoed to the coaches, and the coaches' response to that can then be echoed by that leadership group to the players. Well, it's always one-sided. You want me when you want me, but when I want you to want me and include me, you don't want to. And that's what Deshaun Watson is saying. Like, wait. No, you want me to tell you everything that's needed, but then when I'm telling you what I would like or what a thought that I need or we need in this locker room, you don't want my opinion? It's like, this is my big problem with it. Like Michael Jordan, before he became Michael Jordan, he got drafted to the Chicago Bulls. They understood right then he was a transcendent player. He was going to change the landscape of the Chicago Bulls organization. They included him in decisions like getting Doug Collins after his first head coach, making sure that Michael Jordan was going to be okay with it. Why? Because they understood what they had. It wasn't that they were giving all this praise and all this acknowledgement and power to a player, but there's this stigma that seems to attach itself to organizations or owners that feel like well, we can't have players involved in this type of decision, but we can have them included when we're making decisions predicated to the team with the locker room and how we want to handle certain things and certain players and when it comes to team legal issues and all that stuff. But when we're trying to decide who's going to run this team, we're not going to get a player's input. And that's what Deshaun Watson saying that you told me you would. Now, all of a sudden, I had absolutely no say in the GM or the head coach, but you want me to continue to do what I've always done because you're paying me. Greed. He's still doing that, and he's always done that, but now he just wants to do it elsewhere because they're not supporting him. And if I was Deshaun Watson, I would feel some type of way. I would be in my feelings. He deserves every bit to be in his feelings.
I mean, what am I supposed to say now? I mean, you were out here preaching. I'm not going to lie. You were preaching. But I ain't going to lie. I'm about to get up quietly, back pew, and go to a different church. Because what you talking about ain't going to lead me to the promised land. Because you got these people led astray with all Greg up here saying, Pastor Greg.
You're a fool.
You're a former receiver. And y'all are known as divas. And I don't think you're a diva. And I know a lot of receivers aren't, but that's just how they label you guys. Because in part, y'all are in y'all feelings. And maybe you can understand where he's coming from because that tape, Pastor, your sermon, was in your feelings a little bit. Let me clarify a little bit, too, in terms of player empowerment, because everybody always runs to the top of the mountain and says, see, Michael Jordan, and see, y'all remember Michael Jordan was on record saying he didn't want Phil Jackson and didn't really like Phil Jackson in the beginning, didn't like the way he was going about his practices and the way he was going about coaching in the beginning. So sometimes you just shouldn't listen to a player because he may not know which way is up in those situations. But I digress. I loved what you said, Greg, though. Here's the thing about a no-trade clause. If you're the Houston Texans, yeah, we'll give you that, Deshaun. Yeah, you can have a say if we trade you. But guess what, Deshaun? We ain't never trading you. You are a top 5 quarterback who needs to have top 5 win percentage, who needs to have a top 5 outcome, not just performance. Make it translate. Stop being in the same conversation as Brock Osweiler and all these sorry quarterbacks we've had who have mirrored symmetrical success on our team. So when you look at this situation, Deshaun, man, I wish he just said it with his chest. It sounds like he's flexing now, but it's still not a full flex. In the beginning, I knew that there was a bigger issue than what Deshaun Watson was making of this whole process conversation. Think about it. Even you said it, Greg, a slap in the face. Dog, you gonna give up all of this for a slap in the face? You know what's funny about it? I've been here before. I break up over a small thing. You know why? Because I got a big-ass mountain behind me of all the things I've been letting pile up. Some I suppressed and some I've been expressing, but none of it was dealt with. So now, the straw that breaks the camel's back is still just a straw. Put a straw in the air. God, like that thing is. It's going to float damn near. Deshaun, this issue is not a big enough issue for you to kick up all this dust. So if you wanted to really tell me, or at least convince me to come on your side, say it and speak it with your chest.
But here's the thing, and let's all rap real quick. It is a big enough issue, Sal. Think about it. Deshaun Watson knows his legacy, his career, Super Bowls are on the line. You want him to just sit there and suffer silently? That's the thing.
You can't win a Super Bowl in Houston?
I'm saying, not the way it's been going.
Not with that roster.
Exactly. Not with that roster, not with that management, not with the players, not with the names involved.
So stay still and make them all come to you. If you're a top 5 quarterback, they coming.
No.
Tom Brady brought people out of retirement.
Read what other people are saying. Andre Johnson, he's like, man. We ain't no. How you gonna man Andre Johnson?
Because he already had his chance and he didn't do nothing about it. Now he gonna have you doing something he couldn't do.
What he's gonna say is he's gonna
don't be faking up here.
He's gonna educate you from what he did.
The best education is through your action, partner.
Yes, and he's
don't have me. You got me up here fighting you.
He's trying to say, learn from my inaction, big dog.
Okay.
Like, I should have left that relationship.
I'm gonna let you speak because I'm being rude right now.
I didn't. I don't mind it. I don't mind
it.
Right. Learn from my inaction is what he's trying to say. I didn't leave that unhealthy relationship. That's on me. I was dumb. I should have left that unhealthy relationship. Deshaun Watson, leave. And Deshaun Watson is sitting here like, man, Andre Johnson, he right. Man, J.J. Watt, he probably gonna dip. Man, Arian Foster, he probably right. They all wasted the primes of their careers. They didn't win nothing. Let me get up out of here.
Jim Kelly's a waste?
Can't be mad at him. Marino never won.
So you said never win is a waste. Is that what we're doing here?
The only reason we talk about Marino when his name comes up is always because he didn't win.
That's the only reason you bring him up, not me.
On this show, when Marino comes up, when Charles Barkley comes up.
Charles Barkley's a waste?
No, but we talk about how Charles Barkley is wild out here. He talks reckless. And we talk about how he never won. When we bring up Montana, we don't bring up his outfits. We don't bring up his hair. We bring up how he won. Deshaun Watson is like, hey, I'm not going to waste my career. I'm not going to waste the prime of my career. That's what's not going to happen. So I have the issue with him demanding it, but I fully understand it because he's not going to waste his career, big dog. Not for me, not for you, not for G.
I agree 100%. And Marcellus, you just brought up him not winning and being in the top 5. You want to be in the top 5, you better change the wins and losses column.
Right.
So that's what we do with quarterbacks. That's what we do with players. So if he has an opportunity, like Acho is saying, he's not going to wait until it's too late. He's doing it right now because far too often, how many of us wait because we're trying to be loyal to an organization that has no intention, has never had any intention on being loyal to us. But we think if we continue to just play at a high level, they'll do me right. They'll do right by me. They'll even include me in certain situations. Even though you say, well, why he's throwing a tantrum because he hasn't been included, it doesn't mean they have to listen to what he says. Just include the man. Just let's sit him at the table. That's all he's saying. It's just bring me to the table. I'm not saying do what I've asked you to do and then I will comply. It's just bring me to the table. Let me understand where you're coming from and where we're headed. Show me where we're headed.
It's hard to believe Deshaun in this situation. He's saying that they're lying to him or miscommunicating to him. But just a few months prior, you signed on for an extension for $160 million. And you said how invested you were in the team, in the city, in the community, in the organization. Who's lying? Like, it's hard for me to believe him when he's going to listen to other players who had their same opportunities and tremendous leverage at times, and they didn't do anything. And all of a sudden, it's like the OGs always come back to you talking about, hey, young homie, you know what I would do if I were you? You know what? Respect to you, OG, but you already had your chance to do what you wanted to do, and you did it. So this is what I wrote down a long time ago about advice. Advice is something you would do if you were me. But guess what, buddy? You're not. You had your chance. Now it's my turn to do me. And Deshaun, what you doing right now doesn't add up to me. Coming up, is Dak Prescott staying in Dallas? See, we're smiling again. We'll tell you if we'd be surprised if Dak and the Cowboys parted ways. And that's next. Speak for yourself. Know what, Acho, if I were you, Welcome back to Speak for Yourself. Let's head to Dallas, where there are plenty of questions at quarterback. Dak Prescott had a season-ending injury while playing on the franchise tag, and now Dallas has a big decision to make. Jerry Jones said earlier this season that Dak is their quarterback. But to keep Dak from free agency, Jerry, he has to either tag him for nearly $38 million or sign him to a long-term deal. So, Acho, would you be surprised if Dak and the Cowboys parted ways?
I wouldn't be surprised, Sel. And I wouldn't be surprised, one, because I played in the NFL, two, because I've monitored the NFL, and three, because I listened to people in the NFL. What Aaron Rodgers tell us just 2 days ago? The only thing certain about the NFL is uncertainty. I've also witnessed it firsthand. Y'all know by now I played for the Eagles, played against DeMarco Murray and the Dallas Cowboys. Remember, 2014, y'all, DeMarco Murray ran for 1,800 yards, Sel, 13 touchdowns, and led the NFL also in rush attempts. Led the NFL in rushing yards, rush attempts, rushing touchdowns. He wasn't on the Cowboys next year. Want to know who he was playing for? The Eagles in the same division. The only time in NFL history that's ever happened, that a team has swept in all those categories and not been re-signed. So if I've already seen the Dallas Cowboys let a star player walk, it wouldn't surprise me if it happened again. Now, you can say, well, DeMarco Murray's not Dak Prescott. Must I remind you, DeMarco Murray was that dude in 2014 with Romo and Des Bryant. They went to the playoffs. They made a little bit of noise. So let me just remind y'all of that. The other thing is, you've taught me this. When you're going into negotiations, what's the other side of the table going to say? What they going to say? So what is Jerry Jones going to say? He's going to say, okay, well, Dak, we were 1-3 with you this year, on pace to go 4-12. Dak, you're coming off an injury, don't know how well you're going to play. And Dak, most teams don't win the Super Bowl with their quarterback commanding a large chunk of the salary cap. Okay, Dak, you've only won one playoff game. You've been twice. Jerry Jones has a litany of items that he could throw in Dak's face as well if he wanted to. So I'm simply going to say I won't be surprised if he doesn't resign.
I will be surprised and shocked if he weren't a Dallas Cowboy for next year and going forward. You got to sign Dak Prescott. It's that simple. Let me just go here and correct you, too. DeMarco Murray wasn't that dude. I'm that dude, damn it. Everybody try to take my nicknames. Calm down, DeMarco Murray, and you certainly want a quarterback and that dude. And being a quarterback changes everything. Be real about that. Let's first of all just look at our Final Four of football this year and look at the quarterbacks. It was Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, and of course, my man Aaron Rodgers. Where you go? Oh, Cabo. Okay. Anyway, the point is there's a level. And Dak, you can say, oh, he's not on that level. Well, a lot of people said that about Josh Allen, and then Josh Allen found a way. Got to remember who Dak Prescott was in the beginning of this season in terms of his impact on this offense, in terms of his impact and success league-wide, really. 32 points a game, 488 yards passing, passer rating of 101. Dak was ready, and then he got injured. Okay, I digress. Let's talk about Dak Prescott in terms of his value, because I think this is the real world word we need to focus on, value. And I think right now what's happening is, because you know through your experience, you know through all the people that you have followed and talked about this situation, that people in this world are making a mistake in terms of what the value of Dak Prescott is to the Dallas Cowboys. I learned a long time ago, man, when you fall in love, you fall in love. Not everybody else fall in love with them. You know what I mean? Mama don't like her. Okay, Mama, I heard you. I come over. I'm still coming over. Cook them greens, and I'm leaving. And that's my girl still. Like, don't try and make everybody fall in love with what you fall in love with.
That's a bar. That's a bar, by the way. You just gave me a bar.
I gave you a bar?
You just gave me a bar. We usually pass over bars.
Okay,
I had to let you know that was a bar.
Okay, I appreciate it. Don't compare love letters in this world. Don't do it, because they'll have you thinking all types of way about something you feel. And it's funny because we all have been there. You got feelings, and you know how they make you feel. You're like, this is an amazing thing, but you run it by people. And then they don't see what you see, or they don't feel what you feel, or they don't know the impact. We're just talking about numbers. Dak Prescott walks through that locker room. They stand at an attention out of respect because they know that's their leader. So when you add it all up, Acho, man, don't let these people talk you out of a good thing.
That's real. Yeah. But what else is real is that people in life take things for granted if it comes easy to them.
Yeah.
People in life, they take it for granted. So think about Dak Prescott came so easy to the Cowboys, man. You got Tony Romo. Tony Romo been there for about 11, 12, 13 years. Next thing you know, what are we going to do? Romo's kind of hurt. Let's just throw a flyer at Dak Prescott in the fourth round. Let's just throw a flyer at this kid from Mississippi State. Had some flashes. They were ranked number one. Let's just throw a flyer on him. Oh, he's kind of good. Oh, he kind of turned into a franchise quarterback a little bit for the cheap. Uh-oh, if it was that easy, maybe it'll be that easy again. But I think, Marcellus, an even stronger point is this. The NFL is a copycat league. It's a copycat league. We know that. Who's in the Super Bowl right now? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What did they do? They said, okay, bump all this. Let's try to build and draft and recruit all these things. No. We just going to get a quarterback who has proven he can do it before with the roster we have and hope for the best, catch a flash in the pan.
Like
Aaron Rodgers. Like Matthew Stafford. I don't love Matthew Stafford. The world seems to think he's a Hall of Famer.
He can throw.
He can throw.
He can throw.
Well, as far as all the physical intangibles, Matthew Stafford got them all. Yeah. But the Cowboys, you've made the playoffs 3 times in the last 6 years, 7 years. 2 of the times you've been knocked out by Aaron Rodgers and his Green Bay Packers. You already know Jordan Love exists. You already know Aaron Rodgers is disgruntled. You just saw Tom Brady leave Jerry Jones. Now, I'm not saying I would do it or Sal would do it, but Jerry Jones does some things that we wouldn't do. You just saw Tom Brady leave and instantly bring Tampa a Super Bowl. You can't tell me Jerry Jones isn't sitting around like, what can we do to get Aaron Rodgers? What can we do to get Aaron? Because here's the thing. Right now, Aaron Rodgers probably got about 5 good years left. Who knows how many good years Dak has left? Could be 15, could be 5, could be 1, could be none. We don't know. Also, what's a good year for Dak compared to a good year for Aaron Rodgers? Also, you're going to have to pay Dak $35 million or upwards of a long 5-year, $200 million. So you're going to have to break Dak off too. So if you're Jerry Jones, you're probably sitting there like, I'm going to have to pay Dak roughly $200 million, or I'm going to have to pay Dak $35 million. I'm going to have to pay Dak more than Aaron Rodgers. What can I try to finesse?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, mad scientists think mad.
Yeah, you certainly are mad right now because you are thinking different about this situation. One, Dak's value has went up. And it keeps going up. And the franchise tag is $37.7 million. And if you're going to sign him long term, more than that per year, correct? And Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson up for extensions this offseason. Bank breakers, right? So now, look what you've done to yourself, Jerry, by waiting. That's fine, because Acho has thrown you a life raft. Aaron Rodgers and Matthew Stafford. Now, let me show you what Jerry Jones is doing right now. He's thinking. Because he heard Acho. He's like, ooh, that Acho guy. Isn't he from Dallas? Makes sense. Smart kid. University of Texas, too. Love that guy. State born. All right. But then there's some M&Ms, M&Ms that he just can't digest on this situation. Aaron Rodgers in one hand coming back to reunite with Mike McCarthy's massages. You remember that? You remember how that divorce went down? See? The way you go in is the way you come out. You got to be careful how you treat people on the way out. Because now, Dallas roster with Aaron Rodgers sounds nice, except keep choking on these M&Ms. Mike McCarthy's massages. Matthew Stafford ain't nothing but Andy Dalton with a bigger arm. Stop playing. And he's a contract older, like 6 years older than Dak Prescott. We're not going any of those places. Pay Dak, pay the man. Coming up, Tom Brady is headed to the Super Bowl without Bill Belichick. We'll tell you if he's proven he never, ever needed his former coach. Next, speak for yourself.
Welcome back. Tom Brady is headed to his 10th Super Bowl, but for the first time, it will not be with Bill Belichick. The pair won a record 6 Super Bowl titles together, but Brady moved on to a new system and a new head coach for his 7th championship attempt. Marcellus, has Tom Brady already proven that he never needed Bill Belichick?
No. I mean, this is a big, Like, what are we doing here, man? PB&J is nothing without peanut butter. Like, they need each other. I don't understand this world. It's so binary. I hate how people really take in information now. And I saw the change. I've seen it over the years change. It used to be about information, and the information will help you build up your argument to a conclusion. But now, we're in this binary world where you just tap on apps and people want to just know, where are you? And then just look for affirmation. It seems like that in this conversation as well. Brady needed Belichick and Belichick needed Brady. That's the short answer. Here's the deluxe version of that same answer. If you want to make me say it's not 50-50, it's 51-49 or 55-45. If you want me to go there, it's Bill Belichick versus Tom Brady. Let me tell you why. Bill Belichick was sitting there, and he's a defensive-minded coach, right? Takes a flyer. You say they took a flyer in Dallas on Dak? What is the 6th round, 199 pick? Flyer. You know why? They had a $100 million quarterback by the name of Drew Bledsoe, who used to slang that thing all over the yard. Close, but not good enough, right? Belichick comes there, defensive-minded coach, with a lot of attention to the defense, to the tune of, during their dynasty, the 20 years, you know, had the #1 scoring defense in the NFL over that entire span. You know who it was. The New England Patriots, 18 points a game. And who was first in takeaways over that entire dynasty? New England Patriots, that's right. But everyone wants to say, but Tom Brady was there too. But everyone knows who watched. Tom Brady did this. But why are you doing this? We're not high enough. But the defense is going to support what Tom Brady was learning to do as he learned the ropes. I don't want to take shots at Tom Brady, but in the world today that everyone wants to parse and pull at your arguments, okay, if you're going to force me to not go 50-50, Belichick helped breed what became the GOAT, which is Tom Brady. But he needed Belichick to even get to a place where he could be considered the GOAT.
I respect the take. I respect the take. Let me ask you this. Peanut butter. You eat the crunchy peanut butter or the
crunchy, the nuts, chunky, everything.
All that. See, what's interesting is that, yes, PB&J needs both peanut butter and jelly.
Damn right.
But jelly could also exist with the peanut butter without the nuts.
A jelly sandwich?
With peanut butter without the nuts, without the crunch. See, you don't need Bill Belichick is simply the crunch, big dog. Bill Belichick is not necessary for the sandwich. Let me spit something down to you. Now,
He the bread and the peanut butter.
with Bill Belichick, Tom Brady went to the Super Bowl 50% of the time.
No,
18 years,
No.
9 Super Bowls.
No, they were together.
Healthy.
Okay,
Starter and healthy,
You're right.
right?
18, okay.
18 years, 9 Super Bowls.
All right, about to say.
With Bruce Arians, he batting 100.
Man, he got 1 rep.
Don't get mad at me.
Wow, if
Don't
we
get
do
mad at
20
me.
coin flips versus 1.
Don't get mad.
Oh, I'm doing 100.
I'm just saying.
That's why you be getting
batting
hit.
1,000.
That's why
I'm
Vegas
saying,
be
batting
on your
1,000.
head like that.
Now, but here's one more layer that you hadn't thought about. I hadn't thought about it. Shout out to the people in stats.
Let's see.
Bill Belichick goes to New England, and Drew Bledsoe was there. Drew Bledsoe had already gone to a Super Bowl, been to some Pro Bowls.
Yeah, beast.
Drew Bledsoe had the worst year of his career, win-loss, in his first year with Bill Belichick. It's an outlier. You're right. Cam Newton, former MVP, goes to New England. Cam Newton been in the Super Bowl 5 years prior. Sure, he was injured and whatnot. Cam Newton had by far the worst year of his career with Bill Belichick. Wait a second now, Sal. So you're telling me Pro Bowler, been to the Super Bowl, Drew Bledsoe, worst year of his career, wins losses with Belichick.
Let me check. I don't check.
Wins losses. He had 11 losses. Cam Newton goes to Bill Belichick and has the worst year of his
But it wasn't
career.
worse by wins losses. You changed the metric.
Sure, but it was worse.
What do you mean sure?
But it was worse.
Wait, see, I love you. I told this is University of Texas coming out.
If there's a metric in which you can be the worst at something, that's not good.
He was 7 and 8
That's
this
not
year.
good.
You already talked about how Cam only had 3 winning seasons.
I'm saying,
Don't do that.
if Cam Newton had the worst year of his
just saying.
career, that's not good.
Okay,
Now,
all right.
meanwhile, Tom Brady, he goes to Tampa, second most touchdowns he's ever had, third most passing yards he's ever had. So if you're Tom Brady, you're having individual success and you're having collective success. Maybe you didn't really need Bill Belichick at all because Drew Bledsoe, he didn't help him. Cam Newton, sure as heck ain't help him.
Man.
Come on, Sal, make it make sense.
Man, all I got to say is Brady didn't lead the Patriots to 25 or more points in any of his first 5 playoff games. Still, they didn't lose any of them. That includes those Super Bowls as well. But we'll talk about this tomorrow because we got a lot to talk about on that one. Fox Super 6 has given away nearly $4 million already. Download the Fox Super 6 app and enter the Super Bowl contest for your chance to win $250,000 of Terry Bradshaw's money. All you need to do is pick 6 outcomes in the Super Bowl. It's completely free to play, and for top story scores and more, go to the Fox Sports app. Coming up, Drew Brees' future is up in the air. We'll tell you if the Saints Super Bowl window has officially closed. Next, speak for yourself. Welcome back. Tom Brady's Bucs ended the Saints season a couple weeks ago. Now their future is in flux. Drew Brees has not announced if he's retiring or coming back next season. In addition to that, General Manager Mickey Loomis acknowledged that his team's salary cap issues are bad, calling them, quote, daunting. But he added they will still do everything they can to win. You think? So, Acho, as a Saints Super Bowl window closed.
Yeah, that joint is slammed shut. And more importantly, I don't really feel bad for him. I can't, Saints, y'all toyed with Minnesota to the point where you let a Minneapolis Miracle beat you, like a team that you really shouldn't even have been toying with, led by Case Keenum, not even Kirk Cousins. Then the next year you toy with a young head coach and a young quarterback in Jared Goff to the point where a bad call nonetheless, but it was so close that a bad call really is what ruins that game. Then the next year you toy with the Vikings again, a team that you really should be better than, but you let them get ahead and toy with them to the point where y'all go into overtime and in your house in the Superdome, they beat you. Right. Then the next year you stomp out the Buccaneers twice in the regular season, but then in the playoffs, you toy with them so much so in toying with yourself 4 turnovers that you let them beat you, the team you stomped out twice. So the window is closed because their best players are aging. Malcolm Jenkins, Cam Jordan, Drew Brees. Their best players are aging. Yes, they have Lattimore, Mike Thomas, Kamara. I get that. But let's be real. The nucleus of that team getting older, and I really can't even feel bad for them, man.
Man, you took me there on that part. Look, first of all, let me just answer the question. Yeah, it's closed. Painted shut. You ever been in New York City? The old New York painted when since the 70s, this skyscraper ain't opening this window. That's the problem here in this situation. And I didn't think I was going to feel bad for him. And then hearing you double down made me say, okay, you're right. Because the first 3 years with Drew Brees, missed playoffs in 2 of those 3 seasons. The next 5 years, you made the playoffs in 4 to 5. Next 3 years, missed playoffs in all 3. Then the last 4, you made the playoffs in all 4 seasons. You detailed what that looked like, add it all up, and survey says 1 Super Bowl. As my grandma used to say to all my little cousins, the girl cousins, baby, don't waste your cute, don't waste your pretty. And I was like, Grandma, what the hell are you talking about? She's just basically like, hey, you better get what you got to get when you can get it. And you got Drew Brees. And they ain't going to get it like they should have got it. So it's a sad situation when you talk about how daunting this offseason is, when you know there are more unknowns than knowns. And then they have the worst, I'm not even giving you hyperbole, the worst cap situation. $112 million over the cap projected next year. The hell they going to do? You can't make moves. Everyone is aging on this roster. You need to find a quarterback. Is Jameis Winston coming back? And if he's coming back, at what number? With no cap money. It's going to be an interesting scenario when you talk about how they're going to go forward.
Bro, think about this. The Saints had 49 regular season wins over the last 4 years. 49 regular season wins in 4 years. The most in a Super Bowl era without a Super Bowl. Window shut, Saints, I don't even feel bad for you.
Damn.
Coming up, Houston got a big problem. And Uncle Jimmy, hopefully he can solve it. At least he got something to say about it. That's next. Speak for yourself.
Oh, man. Before we go, Uncle Jimmy joins us. Deshaun Watson wants out. And I hear you got a few things to say about the drama in Houston. Take it away, Unc.
I need to know what the hell's going on down in Houston. Because now all of a sudden, for no apparent reason, we got these black athletes that want to get out of Houston faster than the Proud Boys wanted to get out of the inaugural. Somebody needs to tell me what the hell's happening in Houston. Word on the street is that they must be getting ready to shut down the strip club. Plus, that means they're getting ready to ban the sale of lemon pepper wings all throughout Texas. Hey,
Crispy.
I don't know, but somebody said that they getting ready to pass a law that's going to force all athletes to have to pay all current child support payments. And they also getting ready to make athletes prove that they're an athlete by making them take a swimming test. And I hear that the one that they having the biggest problem with is these athletes is finding out that there's a little clause in their contract that's forcing them to have to denounce pig feet and Kardashians. And if this is true, the way I see it, there's not going to be another Brother F in Texas in about 3 more years. That might be why your ass really left, Nacho, if you tell the truth.
This is going to be Acho going back home and Dak. That's it. See you tomorrow, y'all.